start.
G'day, Mark Richards here, Wild Oats XI. Yeah, it's set that time of year again, Southport race, and the big lead up for the east coast of Australia sort of sailing season, and being the Southport race, Brisbane to Keppel and then Hamilton Island Race Week. So a great training session for ourselves, and the new Blackjack obviously, which will be out there today. Very exciting to see that boat back in Australian waters, and the two boats, sparring partners again, which is really exciting for all the teams and the owners, and I think it's going to add a lot of excitement to the Australian yachting scene for sure. As far as this race goes, it's going to be a pretty slow race, upwind, and very, very cold at night, and going to be some very, very tricky patches out there. So it's going to keep the teams on their feet, and looking forward to the challenge. It's all been, as I said before, the lead up to the Sydney Hobart this year, and this could end up being one of the most exciting Hobarts we've seen for a long time. Obviously with the Blackjack back here, the former Alfa Romeo, Comanche coming back down again. You've got the Scallywag with the new keel and a lot of modifications done to her. So all the owners are obviously very keen to get that victory again in the Hobart. We saw what happened last year. You've got to be in it to win it. Doesn't matter who the favourite is. It doesn't mean you're going to win the race. So really exciting times, and once again, it's just a really cool scene for the Australian yachting and world yachting to see the Sydney Hobart ramping up to be one of the best events in the world again.
I'm on the yacht Maserati, the Volvo 70, which is owned by the Cooney family. We're going quite short-handed in this race, meaning with 12, not short-handed for a Volvo, but for a short offshore race, we're carrying 12. We were planning on 15, and unfortunately Jim Cooney, the owner, has injured his back, and as such he's decided that he and his two children won't be sailing with us today, which is disappointing for us, but he sent us a message to say push the boat hard, stay safe, and enjoy the race. So we've got a race that looks like it's going to be basically on the nose to crack sheet reaching the whole way, and we've just gone through our sail selections of what sails we're going to take on board, and trying to sail the boat light. So we've basically probably only taking half the inventory we'd normally take, say, on a Hobart race. We're down to one spinnaker, and stripped out some of the headsails, all just to keep the weight out of the boat, to give this boat every opportunity. It's Volvo boats are good heavy air boats. This is going to be a light to moderate air race, so we just want to basically sail as light as we can and take advantage of our water ballast also. It's a beautiful day in Sydney today. We've got blue sky, sunshine, and it's going to be a great start to basically although it's still winter, it's the start of our summer season. This basically kicks off the east coast of Australia's racing for the year. It's the feeder race to then the Keppel race, which then feeds up to Hamilton Island Race Week and Airlie Beach Race Week. Once we've got into that part of the season, it's kicked off. We all get back here. It's summer, we're into September, and beautiful sailing. So we're really looking forward to kicking her off today.
Wild Oats XI was the first to cross the finishing line of the Land Rover Sydney Gold Coast Race 2017, posting a time of 1 day, 18 hours, 37 minutes and 6 seconds, taking line honours ahead of Blackjack by the smallest of margins. After over 40 hours of racing across the 384 nautical mile course, just 3 minutes and 31 seconds separated the two big boats, the two Reichel Pugh 100-footers. the second time in 3 years, Shane Kern's Komatsu Azura was powered to overall victory in the Land Rover Gold Coast race, finishing on corrected times of 3 days, 1 hour, 40 minutes and 25 seconds. She is an S&S 34 designed by Sparksman and Stevens.
The first man to win back-to-back world titles on foils. This is him, setting himself up now to the finish to take the world title. Paul Goodison is over. And we're here with the 2017 Moth World Champion, Paul Goodison. Well done, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Mate, back-to-back, the first man ever in foiling Moths to win back-to-back Moth World titles. How's that feel?
That's a nice little stat.
That is a nice little stat, mate. Well done. Your dominance during the week, mate, what do you put it down to?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I think I've had good speed and sailed pretty well. I said at the beginning of this week I thought it'd come down to 3 or 4 guys going into the last race with all the chance to win, and I didn't expect to win with 2 races to spare. It's just incredible. I think the boats held together nicely. I've sailed well and had good speed, so pretty stoked right now.
And the quality of this fleet, Paul, you've absolutely just showed them the way in pretty much every race. And you know, you've got some pretty good names behind you, pretty fast guys, so you've got to be stoked with that.
No, it's been incredible. I've just loved this place. It's absolutely amazing. After sitting watching too much of the America's Cup and not doing enough racing the last year, it was this means so much to come here and to sail as well as I've done and show everybody I'm still capable of it. Absolutely.
Just about to turn the big 402, mate, so there's all something there for the old fellas. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 2017 Moth World Champion, Paul Goodison. Well done, Paul.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, good morning and welcome to the 2017 Lendy Cowes Week. It all kicks off here today. 700 boats, about 40 classes. It's going to be an absolute cracker. And they're all clear, so it's a port tack start. But do they have as much breeze? I think maybe the tide's a little bit better for them there. On the day before racing started, we caught up with Regatta Director Phil Hagan to find out what was in store this year.
Cowes Week is our premier yachting regatta in the UK. It started in 1826. It's continued to grow over the years, and I think what it does is it offers a cross-section of sailing to the really keen professional sailors and also the more Corinthian-spirited ones. And we have a cruiser division which accommodates people trying to move into the racing that are not normally used to it. So I like to think it's a broad church of opportunity for people that enjoy what we do racing on the water. When you consider that in a day we've somewhere between 37, 38 starts a day of 700 plus boats, and I've said this before, doing in the region of 500 different mark roundings in the Solent, one definitely doesn't want to have them going around the same mark the opposite way. So it's a very complex event as well. We've introduced the Triple Crown this year. And like all new events or new parts, that's going to take a little bit of building. Delighted that the Duke of Edinburgh has given us a trophy for that, so a very unique and wonderful thing to have. The big sort of 100-foot type boats, they don't want to go around every small mark. They don't. Their draft stops them doing that. So we want to provide something well thought out for them, with an eastern approaches race, a western approaches race to the Solent and around the island for the 3 centre days of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we want this to attract, in particularly a Fastnet year, some real glamour back into it. And the response I've had so far from has been really positive and saying that this event should grow. So we're excited to kick it off this year, and that's a new addition for us.
Lendy Cowes Week is as much about what happens on shore as it is about what happens on the water. Kate Johnson explains.
There's such a lot of people want to come and visit, and we're just keen to put as much on as we possibly can. So we have themed days, so starting on Sunday with Family Day. I mean, that's a great day because it's lovely to see all the youngsters here and the families enjoying it as much as the older people who are maybe out racing. It's lovely to see families watching, absorbing, they'll be the races of the future really. So Family Day is fun. Then on Monday we're really focusing on our event charity. That's obviously a really important day for us. We're highlighting the work of the Andrew Simpson Foundation, trying to support them as much as we can. They've got some fabulous activity going on throughout the day. So Cowes Bash out on the water, and then a big party happening in Cowes Yacht Haven that evening. Ladies' Day on Tuesday is probably a personal favourite. I quite like to champion the cause of celebrating women in sailing. Lots going on that day. We've got the Magenta Project ladies here. There's a big reception on Tuesday evening. So Tuesday there's lots going on, and then Wednesday, Youth Day, so really looking at our under 25-year-old sailors. And I could go on. I mean, there's just so much happening and I enjoy every day.
And of course fireworks on Friday.
How could I forget fireworks on Friday? Of course, 9:30, the Lendy Cowes Week fireworks will be going off with a bang.
With a stubborn low pressure sitting over the north of the country and fronts coming up from the west, the weather was always going to be the subject of conversation for the opening day of Lendy Cowes Week.
I think the trickiest thing about the Solent is just its changeability. You think the southwesterly is the prevailing wind, but each day you get something slightly different. You might get a front coming through that changes it anywhere from northwest to south. The sea breeze, particularly, I imagine for foreign sailors, is really quite confusing here. The only other place I've been in the world where it's quite any more confusing is probably Auckland. Cowes Week this year looks pretty nice. Southwesterly winds prevailing at least into the middle of the week, but a little bit of a mix of weather. So we've got a warm front coming up, going to bring some pretty heavy rain, unfortunately due just after lunchtime. So starting off with southwesterly wind, but looking for that front coming through and the wind coming round to the south.
The opening day here at Lendy Cowes Week turned out to be quite a wet affair. But to be fair, it was always on the cards. The forecasters said that the rain would come down in the afternoon, and it did. But the good news was that in the morning it was dry, there was an 8 to 12 knot breeze and perfect conditions, particularly for the opening day of the event. Most of the racing for the big boat classes went down to the West Solent. The white group classes went up around the middle of the Solent and raced around there. But in the end, the rain came down in the afternoon and actually squashed the breeze, and there really wasn't much breeze left by the end of the day. That didn't seem to dampen the enthusiasm of the teams. I think most people were just happy to get out there and get the week's racing underway. So day 2 here at Lendy Cowes Week turned out to be just the kind of sparkling affair that the forecasters had suggested would be. Champagne conditions on the second day. But what's in store tomorrow?
The best talent in the country in the youth world classes is here today. The best coaches. This is the place to be.
These are the future of Olympic sailing in the USA, and it was really great here to meet them, and because these are the next generation that I need to work with to bring them to the podium.
All the girls that I've sailed with all want to start a campaign, or are starting a campaign for the Olympics.
So I thought I'd apply and race against the best kids in the US.
You know, there's a lot of new fleets developing across the country, new boats, new disciplines, and you know, we want to encourage that. The sport's always changing, so we have to be ready to change with it.
So dynamics. I'm used to sailing opties, lasers, some keel boats, so being in the skiff boat, it's a whole new challenge for me.
To get out in the ocean and race is something that if I was training and putting together a program, I'd make sure I was using that opportunity.
Time on the water is the biggest thing, and obviously in laser radial, you got to be really athletic, so working out too. And if you put enough work into it, you'll eventually get to the top.
Get on the water as much as you can. Just practice a lot.
It's just practice, practice, practice. Write down every single thing you learn, every single difference, and just have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm ready to learn new things and become stronger and better at sailing.
It's hard, but it's fun, definitely.
Welcome to the fourth event on the 2017 World Match Racing Tour. 18 teams from around the world have traveled here to St. Petersburg, starting out the fleet racing qualifiers in this day number 1 of Match Cup Russia. After Victor Serieski won race number 1, Phil Robertson went on to lead race number 2 and take the win. Meanwhile, penalties were given to Peter Jan Postma and Matt Sherwood. In race number 3, more of the same. It was Phil Robertson leading all the way around the track, and penalties this time were given to Victor Serieski and Nico Delacarth. And finally, in race number 4, the breeze picked up, and so did the action. On the starting line, Victor Serieski held up most of the fleet, and that gave an early lead to Matt Sherwood. He extended all the way around the racetrack. Second place went to Victor Serieski. Phil Robertson, however, had his roughest race of the day. The breeze stayed up as the second group took the water. Race number 1 went to Nicholas Dockheimer, and in race number 2, it was a wire-to-wire win for Ian Williams. Tough break for Sally Barco at the start of race number 3 with an OCS, and that gave Ian Williams an early lead into Mark 1. And so it was no surprise that Phil Robertson is leading group number 1 and Ian Williams leading group number 2. Now we're in race number 1, Mark number 1 with group 3. Guichard held off Gilmore and Kling at the top Mark 2, while Stephen Thomas clawed his way back into the match. But at the finish, the race belonged to Jan Guichard yet again. And that wraps up day number 1 of the fleet racing qualifiers here in St. Petersburg, Russia. More to come tomorrow.
love coming here to Fuerteventura, and because you're always guaranteed to have some pretty damn tight racing, and again it's shown it all the way to the end there. Like, it was tight between even I could have lost and became 4th overall. So, and the swings, you know, a couple of days like someone would be strong and then the others would catch up again, and yeah, just super happy to get on the podium again here in Fuerteventura, and yeah, just feel really happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I wanted to push to get first. I got an amazing start, but I was on 7-8. I was flying down the line on the first reach, but after that in the jibe I was too big. So Antoine got a better jibe. Yeah, I'm really happy. It was a good fight with Antoine and Ross, especially with Ross at the end, and yeah, I'm super happy of my 2nd place here.
Yes, it was a nice fight, but yesterday and the day before I did a few mistakes. So actually today for the last slalom it was not done, you know, for me to get the first place, because Ross and Matteo they could get as well the first place. It was kind of close. So I had to do well. I had to do in the top 4, and I won the last slalom. So for me it was perfect.
So Palma is an amazing place for sailing because of the combination of the city, the Bay of Palma, and the wind, the typical thermal wind they have every day.
Palma is a fantastic place for sailing, and especially in summer the sea breeze is super good.